today's show, I'm going to bring out my crystal ball. I'm going to talk about something I'm asked about constantly, and that's where I think home prices are going in 25. And this is only going to be an educated guess, but I feel confident in the guess. And some interesting info on where so many of us are moving now to save money. Okay, so home prices. It's been bad, ugly to be a buyer the last few years, and it's been magnificent if you're a home owner. I mean, I don't need to devote much time to why. I mean, so many of the owners bought homes when prices were much lower and when mortgage rates were much lower. Buyers today facing a much higher home price and stubbornly higher mortgage rates. Now, the mortgage rates before, they're not coming back because those were manipulated rates. But there are factors in the market that mean that steadily income is going to help as people's income rises over time. The affordability of houses will become more favorable. Is it going to be like what people had with crazy low mortgage rates and much lower prices before? No. But over time, things normalize. And you have what's known as reversion to mean, meaning that you can't have a situation where permanently nobody can afford to buy what you're trying to sell. That's why inventories of homes available for sale keep rising in the United States. And in more and more metro areas, prices have stalled out or declined in the last year. Others, the rise has been tiny compared to what it was in prior years. And so as a general trend, and real estate has locality to it as well, but as a general trend, we're going to see home prices not really going anywhere over 25, maybe 26. Moving forward, the prices are basically stalled out. And there are a number of signs showing this to be a case. Again, there are local differences that make what I'm saying not necessarily apply in the zip code you're looking for wherever you're looking in the United States. So I'm talking about general trends that houses are marginally going to become effectively more affordable versus income. As income rises and home prices don't, they'll become more affordable. Mortgage rates, until it's clear that we're not going to have a rapidly expanding budget deficit in the first year of the Trump administration, if that does not come about, we'll see mortgage rates begin to decline again. And so then you'd have the lucky combo of home prices as a buyer not headed upward and mortgage rates becoming better. And so we'll see. And, you know, a year from right now, I'll either have egg on my face or I'll be proven right. But the data seems clear enough with number of homes coming on the market so much larger than they had been, homes sitting on the market for sale for longer periods of time than they were before, and new home builders building steadily more inventory, that the conditions to be a buyer are not going to be like, wow, this is the greatest time ever to buy a house. But the worst time ever to buy a house is now in the rearview mirror, and the conditions, in my belief, will become more favorable. How about for you as a seller? The best news for sellers, in my opinion, has already happened. And it's not like the value of your home is going to drop like a rock, but it means that conditions are not going to push prices steadily higher. There are markets in the country that I discussed about 6 weeks ago where the prices are actually dropping in the actual dollar amounts people are willing to pay. And that is at one end. And then at the other end, you have a small number of markets where prices are still going up an appreciable amount. But the overall picture is prices are where prices are, and they're not going to move at crazy higher prices overall anytime soon. So I want to talk about something people are doing now, buying a house, that is a real shift in the marketplace that I want to make sure you're aware of. The housing market is going through such odd things right now that I want to make sure that you're up to date on. Number one, the price difference between buying a used home per square foot and a new home is so, I can't think of a time in history, maybe the late 1940s this may have been true, but I can't think of any other time. Do you know that the price of buying a new home that historically is 15 to 20% more than buying a used home today is 3% more? And in some places, absolutely the same or cheaper buying new than used. The supply of used homes for sale, although the listings have grown around the country, is much smaller in terms of what they call month supply than new homes. So everything is turned upside down. But there is something clear about home buyers. During COVID, people adopted in significant numbers a new lifestyle where people were living wherever they wanted to live if they were white-collar kind of workers because they were working remotely. Today, a lot of companies have people back in the office 5 days a week. Many others, 3 days a week. Being fully remote, not completely rare, but very unusual today. But changes happen with the mentality of people, plus this shift of people buying new homes. People are buying homes much farther out of core metro areas. What's different than what happened in 20 is people were living all the way across the country from where the company they worked for or the office was based. That's not really happening any significant amount anymore. But what is happening now is people have decided in cities where this, in metro areas where this historically was not a thing, people are living in what are known as satellite cities. Because, you have the urban core, you have the close-in suburbs, and then the further out suburbs called exurbs, and now people are moving to what are known as satellite communities, which could be 50, 60 miles away from the core city. It's not unusual anymore. I'll talk to somebody, and they say, well, I live blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, wow, and you're commuting that far? But people are making the choice to be able to have their housing dollar go further, or potentially in a satellite city community, lower taxes. They may like the quality of life, which is a term that's hard to define but means something to different people. So it means that you're in the car a lot more. And it means that the cost of transportation in your life is something you may not be budgeting appropriately for, because even though you may be living at 40, 50, 60 miles away from where you commute for work, and that's working for you, you may not also budget in how much more you're paying for fuel if you're driving a gas vehicle. You may be somebody who, with how depressed the prices are of used electrics, it might be a great idea for you to have a used electric vehicle for that commute. I mean, there are things, if you are going to go way out of the urban ring, and you're going to live pretty far away. My middle brother, who still works full-time, lives in a satellite city that's about 65 miles away from the core downtown of his metro area. And he and his wife love that. They love doing that. So it is a really valid housing choice. It just comes with other things you really need to think about. As far as shopping, retailers are smart, and they go where the customers are. And so even if you move out to a satellite community 40, 50 miles away, and at first there may not be a lot of stores nearby, they'll come. They come when the number of housing units being built are going up. And I was reading about, where did I see this? I think it was in the business journals. Savannah, Georgia, which is it's a coastal community of I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people, that a developer is building 25 miles from central Savannah. They're building 2,500 homes, 2,500 in an area that used to be a rural community. And the demand is apparently there. And they're building that far away from not a huge metro area, but a relatively small metro area, and building this very, very large number of homes because the mentality of the market has changed. And I hope you have a great, great day today. Know what we're all about. You learning ways to save more, spend less, and avoid getting ripped off.